How's it going, everybody? For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at Stone Brewery's collaboration brew, Japanese Green Tea IPA, an India Pale Ale brewed with green tea. The beer forums and beer talk and buzz websites have been ablaze with talk about this experimental brew from Stone Brewery. This is their Japanese Green Tea IPA. Now, before I even looked into any of it at all, I thought to myself, that could work out really good. Because if you think about the taste of green tea mixing already with those kind of like citrusy tropical flavors in the first place being an IPA, that could be pretty tasty. And from what I've been seeing online, the green tea is very prevalent. Now, this was just delivered to our local bottle shop like maybe a few days ago, and it says it was bottled on January 9th, so this thing is barely a month old, just a little over a month old, so it's still extremely fresh. And this is a collaboration, and it says it's a collaboration between Stone, of course, with Bayard and Ishii. The beer comes in at 10.1% alcohol by volume. Not sure if it's listed as an Imperial IPA, but in my books, that's an Imperial IPA because you're definitely going to be feeling it if you drink the whole bottle like I'm about to do. There is a bit of writing on the back, as always, with Stone Brews, so we'll go through quickly. It says, Bayard, Ishii, Stone, Japanese Green Tea IPA. Our style of brewing has always been about taking chances. It's an extension of our what-if mentality, wherein we ask ourselves, what would happen if we did things differently in the brew house, such as fermenting with a different strain of yeast, or, in the case of this beer, incorporating whole-leaf green tea imported from Japan. The answer, embodied in this IPA when we first released it in 2011, was something truly magnificent, delicious, and, as proven by the reissue edition you hold in your hands in 2015, well worth brewing again, including our two-time collaborators Brian Bayard of Japan's Bayard Brewing Company and Toshi Ishii, a former Stone brewer and the founder of Guam's Ishii Brewing Company. But we've found that when approached with cautious curiosity and logic-driven creativity, reward often follows such risk. So, in bringing this IPA back to life, we followed the same recipe developed 4 years ago, but exchanged Pacifica hops from New Zealand to hop-growing region that was becoming quite popular in 2011 for Helga hops from Australia, an area with a burgeoning botanical scene right now. The result is an IPA that's as bright and herbaceous and bitingly hoppy as the one that's had our fans requesting its return ever since its depletion from store shelves, but with a modern hop-driven twist that makes this second draft unique and tasty in its own right. And then it has some quotes here. Brian Bayard, the brewmaster at Bear Brewing Company in Guam, says, a truly distinctive IPA. The herbal characters of the hops and green tea are so seamlessly intertwined, it's impossible to tell where one ends and the other begins. Toshi Ishii says, the 2015 Japanese Green Tea IPA is not just an IPA blended with green tea. It's the miracle created of something from British origin meeting Japanese tradition at a revolutionary American brewery. And Mitch Steele, the brewmaster from Stone, says, the brew crew at Stone is thrilled to be able to bring this fantastic IPA once more with Brian and Toshi. This was one of our favorite collaboration beers, and we love how the addition of Japanese green tea complements the pronounced hop character. Well, that was a lot of reading. So, I'll be drinking this out of my Dogfish Head branded IPA glass. So without further ado, let's get the cap off of this and see what this is all about. I've been really excited for this. I actually special requested this one in to our store here. I was that excited to try it. I asked them to order it for me, and they were able to get a case of it in. So if it's good, I can go back and get more. Straight out, the color pours. Not what I was expecting. Very hazy and murky gold. Does seem to have a pretty low head potential. The ABV, of course, is going to be the cause of that, but even so, quite a low head potential for an IPA. It did, however, form about a finger of decently dense colored, just bright white ivory head. Holding this one in the light is strange. It is super murky and hazy. It's not just a chill haze either. It looks like it's ridiculously unfiltered. The color is what I would call kind of an orange gold, almost like orange juice in a way, like a more see-through orange juice, sort of. I guess translucent orange juice. Interesting look. Let's give it a smell. Yeah, already I'm picking up on some of those kind of like tea notes in this. It's got the hops you'd expect up front, kind of citrusy, but this is kind of almost like more of a piney sort of IPA. I'm not getting a whole lot of like mango and peach. I'm getting more like pineapple, pine, grapefruit, hops, kind of like a rainwater earthiness, but mainly a lot of green tea. It smells good. It's not. It's very different smelling. Once again, because of the green tea in there, you can tell it's in there, at least as far as the smell goes. The head is just about subsided down to a film. Let's give it a taste. Oh wow, yeah, the green tea is super, super prevalent in this beer. Man, that works out actually pretty well. When it first hits you, I won't lie to you, on that first sip, it's almost offensive. It's like, holy crap, there's tea in my beer. But the more it has a very long finish, it's still in my mouth, and the more I sit here and kind of taste around on it, it really works out with those bittering hops that they have in this. Oh man, that's weird. So when you very first take a sip, you get that initial upfront hop sweetness, but then all of a sudden you're just hit with this green tea, and it almost has some similarities to like black tea as well. You are hit with an unmistakable fresh tea leaf taste, which fades back into a hop bitterness. Word of caution, this is not a sweet IPA, in my opinion, by any means. This is definitely a bitter-biased, hop-forward IPA. And the reason I say that is because if you are new to craft beer, to drinking IPAs, this may not be a good starting point. It is something that's obviously curious looking, and you're going to want to try it. But if you don't really appreciate really bitter stuff, you may want to wait on this one. It may be a waste of your money because it does say on the bottle, drink fresh, so you don't want to let this one sit around for too long. If you aren't a fan of your super bitter IPAs, you may not like this one. If you are a fan of bitter IPAs, which I am a fan of, then you would probably find this as just a really interesting detour off the beaten path of IPAs. You know, it's something really different for your everyday IPA drinker. That is so wild. And I'm not going to say it's 100% bitter. Up front, when you first sip, there is a little bit of kind of a citrusy, hoppy, grapefruity sweetness, but it doesn't last long before that kind of tea. I don't want to say green tea because it almost has just a like breakfast tea, English breakfast tea, like in a tea bag, you know what I'm saying? Kind of tea note just hits you. And that tea is on the bitter side of things, and then it also fades back out of the tea into IPA notes, but it's ending on hop bitterness. So a little bit of sweetness, then kind of bitter tea, and then really bitter hop finish. My review on this, though, or my score rather, is going to be quite high. As far as representation of the style, this isn't really a style, it's experimental, so I'm going to skip the style score because, does it represent an IPA? No, not at all. No other IPA out there is going to taste like it has tea in it, so it doesn't get that score. What it does get is my own personal opinion score, that being probably about like a 94 to a 95. I want to give it an A. I really, really like what they're doing with this beer. I've never, ever, 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 ever tasted something like this in a beer before. It's very impressive. It's ambitious, but they did pull it off very well. They say on the back of the bottle, I can't tell where one stops and the other ends. I disagree with that. It does have very definitive points in its development. It goes from IPA, and you know when it turns into tea, and you know when it turns back into IPA. but it does so very fluidly and harmoniously. It's just like IPA tea back into IPA again, and it's really tasty stuff. So 94 to a 95 as far as my own personal score goes. If you're a IPA veteran, this is one you should try, because it's kind of a experimental little thing, something different from the beaten paths of same old, So yeah, really high marks for me. I'm really digging this. I think it's a cool thing they've done. That's been my review of Stone Brewing Company's Japanese Green Tea IPA. Hope you guys enjoyed the beer review as always, and stay tuned for the next one.